How do we get here? How did this happen? Hi, how are you doing? Today we are going through every single unread book in my physical TBR. Of course, I have hundreds of books that I want to read in my lifetime, but these are the books that I own and I still haven't gotten around to them, but I still want to. So this is a way for me to keep myself accountable, especially since it's a new year, so it's like a way of making myself aware of all of the books that I have. But before we begin, I did want to say a very big thank you to this week's sponsor, which is Book of the Month. Hi, that was a very good spin. Good job. For those of you who don't know, Book of the Month is a monthly subscription box that is taking BookTube by storm. It's a fast-growing and very popular book service for book lovers like myself and you, if you're watching this. Hi, welcome to the club. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and to help us discover books that we are bound to love. Their team vets hundreds of different books and gives us a monthly selection of new and early release titles, so you can spend more time working on your yearly reading goal and less time looking for books to read. What I love about Book of the Month is that it helps me diversify my reading and it helps me try out genres that I would have never even thought of picking up. Book of the Month is also risk-free. You can skip any month, anytime, and you will not be charged. Let's take a look at Book of the Month's January picks. First up, we have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. This is the story of two estranged siblings who must set aside their differences to deal with their mother's death and her hidden past. Then we have Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, a queer rom-com with a non-binary protagonist that is both fantastically fun and crack your heart wide open vulnerable. Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins, a mystery thriller set on an isolated Pacific island where people go missing and others turn up dead. Fiona and Jane by Jen Chen Cho, a book that traces the lives of two young Taiwanese American women as they navigate friendship, sexuality, identity, and heartbreak over 2 decades. The Magnolia Place by Fiona Davis, a historical fiction about the secrets, betrayal, and murder within one of New York City's most impressive Gilded Age mansions. And then we have January's add-on, which is The Maid, written by Nita Prose. This is categorized as a cozy murder or cozy mystery, and I've never read anything like that, so I'm so excited to dive into this one. Make sure you head on to Book of the Month and use the code Let's Go to get your first book for only $9.99. Thank you, Book of the Month, for sponsoring this video, and without further ado, let's unpack. I'm the type of reader that doesn't really like to read synopsises. What is the plural of synopsis? I'm not the kind of reader that likes to read what a book is about a lot because I feel like synopsis do a really good job of spoiling the fun of books. Sometimes they say too much, sometimes they say too little, and it's like, why even bother? You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. So sometimes I won't really be able to tell you what the book is about, and I hope you won't hang me for that. So the first one that we have is Mirage by Somaya Daud. This was recommended by one of my booktube friends called Fadwa, and this is one of their favorite books, I believe. I could be wrong, do not quote me on that, but I've heard that it's this really beautiful and very immersive read, and it's very fantastical. I think when I first got it, I was really into this fantasy mood, but then since books take like 2 to 3 weeks to get to me, by the time that I got this, I was in my romance era, so I never actually got around to pick this up. But who knows, maybe 2022 will be chock full of fantasy moods for me. I mean, I feel like you can already see it, so let's just talk about the elephant in the room. A Court of Silver Flames. This ridiculously long book, 757 pages of fairy smut. Okay, I know it's more than fairy smut, but I have heard that this is Sarah J. Maas's smuttiest book for some reason. We follow Cassian and Nesta, which is one of Fyra's sisters. Cassian, of course, is one of Riss's closest friends and soldiers. We follow them and their love-to-hate relationship. Wait, no, hate love-to-hate relationship. I never actually know if they end up falling in love. They probably do. They have a lot of room for character development, as clearly we can see. But yeah, the main reason that I haven't picked this up is 1, I don't like Nesta, 2, I'm afraid of big books, and 3, I haven't like, for Sarah J Maas books, you need to be in a certain mood to pick it up, otherwise you won't be able to enjoy it to the fullest. And ever since I got it in January, I've been waiting for that mood to hit, and it hasn't. Here I am, like a fool, waiting for it to come. It never does. Next up, we have a middle grade book, which was recommended by my subscribers, and it is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow, written by Jessica Townsend. This looks wonderful. It's also floppy, so bonus points for that. The probabilities of me picking up a book are higher if it's a floppy paperback. I have never really considered myself a mood reader, but I keep saying that I'm not in the mood for a certain type of genre, so maybe I am. Maybe 2022 is about accepting that I'm a mood reader, and that's okay. I had like a middle grade children's book era back in 2021, and I was just devouring different middle grades. That was around the, whoa, it's so dark. Middle grade is not supposed to be this dark. Back when I got this, I was living my best middle grade life, and then it stopped. Morgan Crow is cursed, born on Eventide, the unluckiest day for any child to be born, and worst of all, the curse dooms her to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. That's so sad, but it sounds so fun, and the cover looks so fun as well. As soon as I say that a child is going to die on their 11th birthday, the sun comes out. And now it's leaving again. This lighting is not it, but let's move on, shall we? Then we have a classic, and I actually tried to read this, and then I had to put it down because there was this one very specific animal cruelty scene and like torture of cats that I really couldn't handle. I really couldn't stomach this lighting. I really couldn't stomach the torture of animals and how descriptive it was, so I had to put it down, but I kind of want to try one more time just because I keep hearing other people rave about this book. It's just really interesting to see what other people think about it, and they never bring that scene up, so it must be like forgettable for them, I guess. I have read one other book by Haruki Murakami before, Norwegian Wood. I didn't like it. It was a 2-star for me. I'm sorry, but I feel like I just want to give it one more try. And I already have it, so why not push myself beyond that scene and try one more time. From what I read, from like the 100 pages that I read, we are following this 15-year-old guy who runs away from home, and we're trying to sort of figure out why. There's this one man, I think he's homeless, and he can talk with cats. He might be crazy, but I don't know. Like, it's very hard to know with Haruki Murakami at times. So I just, yeah, hopefully one day I'll go back to this. So if you've been here for a while, you know that 2021 was my classical era awakening. I read so many wonderful classic books that just made me fall in love with literature and made me fall in love with annotating as well at the same time, because annotating classics, my favorite pastime. I feel so beautiful, I feel so intelligent, I feel like I'm using more than 30% of my brain, which is what I mostly use on my day-to-day basis, so it's like a really wonderful experience, and because of that I have so many classics that I want to get to, 2 of which are from a very renowned female author that paved the way for so many other women, and she is Jane Austen. We have Emma. Hi. I think this is her debut novel, like the very first book that she wrote. Do not quote me on that. And then we also have Sense and Sensibility in this beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, amazing cover. This was sent to me by a viewer. It has a handwritten note inside. It's everything to me. I am so excited to build my classic collection and just delve into these worlds and just fall in love. Like, for some reason, classic books, especially Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, Dorian Gray, and Frankenstein, they make me fall in love with reading, and they make me fall in love with life. I don't understand it, I just accepted it. Okay, this next one is a little bit of a joke. My friend Vanny, she thought it would be funny to annotate 50 Shades of Grey for me. I've always talked about how beautiful and how romantic it would be to receive an annotated book by someone for you. She took it upon herself to make that dream true through 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. So the thing is, here's the funny thing, she never finished it. She reached page 100 and then she said, I can't. She said, this is not it. So now I have 100 annotated pages of this bad boy, and obviously I'm not going to throw it away because it does have sentimental value now, unfortunately. So who knows, maybe it'll be fun to read. Maybe I can make up my own mind. Maybe this will be my sexual awakening. Like, I am open. I am so open. 2022 is about being open to anything and everything, including 50 Shades of Grey. This is either a Christmas or birthday gift from 2020 or 2021, I'm not sure, but it is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This was sent to me by Miriam, and I think this is one of her all-time favorite fantasy books, or like she really loved it when she first read it. As attraction flares between them and ancient evils stir, will they be able to see their tasks to the death? That sounds very sexy. But at the same time, that tells me nothing. I'm also not really trying that much because I don't want to be spoiled for what the book is about. I'd rather go into a book knowing absolutely nothing and just making my way as we go. So this is the other book that hopefully I will get to read soon. Then we have Jade City. Hi, look at this stunning, beautiful edition. Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is a fantasy, mafia-inspired story. Jade City begins an epic tale of family and honor. The Godfather with a magic and kung fu set in an Asia-inspired fantasy metropolis. Again, it's so dark. I'm so sorry. I'll talk to my electrician. I read the first 40 pages and I wasn't into it. I feel like there was a lot of world building, of course, because it's this whole new magic system. It's very high fantasy, and I feel like you have to be in a certain mood to be able to enjoy high fantasy, because if you're just not in that mindset of fully immersing yourself and losing yourself in this new world and accepting new rules as you go, if you're just not into that and if you're not open-minded to being mind blown, you're not really going to enjoy the book. And that's, I think, what happened to me when I first picked this up. I was just not in the mood for this. But I do feel like I want to give it another chance, especially because it's so many people's favorite fantasy book. I've just heard so many wonderful things, and I think the last book came out last year, so I mean, I want to give it a chance. Like, I have 2 copies, I might as well give it a chance. Talking about multiple editions, I also have 2 editions of These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I think the sequel and last book in this duology came out last year. I still haven't read it, but this is also mafia inspired. It's a fantasy retelling of Romeo and Juliet. The year is 1926 and Shanghai hums to the tune of debauchery. Okay, that gives me Dorian Gray. I'm sorry, I read the word debauchery, instantly picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I'm sorry, that's how my brain works. Then we have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Of course, Taylor Jenkins Reid is also the author of 2 of my all-time favorite books, which are Daisy Jones and the Six and The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know why it's taken me so long to read Malibu Rising. My fear is that it's not going to live up to the hype. I feel like when this first came out, everybody was talking about it and everybody was loving it. But then a lot of negative reviews started coming out, and that just kind of scared me. Of course, we're all entitled to our different opinions, but Malibu Rising is a story about one unforgettable night in the life of a family. The night they each have to choose what they will keep from the people who made them and what they will leave behind. Yes. Hi. By Mary H.K. Choi, we have Yolk. This is the story of This is the story of 2 estranged sisters who come together after their mom gets cancer? Oh no, okay, one of the sisters gets cancer, and the other sister is the only one who can help her. Flung together by sickness and bound by family secrets, will the sisters learn more about themselves and each other than they're willing to confront? This sounds devastating, but beautiful, and like a book that I'm going to love, so honestly, I have no excuse for not having picked this up yet. I did receive it in November last year, so it hasn't been that long, but still, this is a book that I want to get to as soon as I can. This is a book that makes me happy every time I see it. I've technically already read it in its webtoon format, but it recently came out as a hardcover. Of course, I had to get a copy of Lore Olympus, and I do want to reread it just because it's just going to feel so different flipping through the pages instead of scrolling through a webtoon. And I just want to see the colors. I want to be back with Hades and Persephone, and I want to be back in this world. Sorry. Lore Olympus follows a bunch of Greek gods, but we're mostly following Persephone and Hades and their relationship. Next up, we have a book that, as you can see, has a bookmark, but I haven't read it. I'm in page 30. I haven't retained anything, but it is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is my very first Erin Morgenstern book, and honestly, I'm gonna say it, I am terrified. I am so intimidated by this book because I've heard some people say that the writing is very lyrical and very beautiful, and of course, I've read Strange the Dreamer. This book kind of gives me that same vibe. I may be incorrect, but I don't think I am. And I loved Strange the Dreamer, but it's definitely the type of writing that you can't just, you know, fly through. You have to like really feel it and really immerse yourself in the world and the story to fully appreciate it. And I feel like this one is just going to be a tiny, you know, it's going to be a bit harder than I am imagining. So that's why it's so intimidating. But I've heard so many beautiful, wonderful things about this, so I want to read this. I just need the mood to strike. So yes. Also, this cover, come on. Full Metal Alchemist Volume 15 by Hiromu Arakawa. Of course, if you've been here for a while, then you know that Full Metal Alchemist is everything to me. In this volume, we have Daddy Elric. You already know. If you don't know, Full Metal Alchemist follows the story of two brothers who gave up everything to try and bring back their mom from the dead through alchemy. Of course, it didn't work since we have a story to tell. I also have these, which I don't even know the order. I think this is the second one. The Obelisk Gate and the Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. These are the second and third book to the 5th season. I didn't like the 5th season, I'm sorry, but I did get the box set. It was gifted to me as a birthday gift in 2021, I believe. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I have no inclination to continue on with the series, but at the same time, I have them. I'm still debating, but the 5th season, it's basically this dystopian fantasy where humans have completely destroyed the world, so it's this new reality of trying to survive, even though the world, or like the earth, is constantly trying to eradicate humanity, with due reason, of course. For now, it's a no. I just don't want to unhaul them because it was a gift. So I'm struggling. Next up, A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I don't know. I got this in a Fairy Loot box, I believe, but then I lost interest, as you do. Sometimes you can't force yourself to want to read books that you don't want to just because everybody else is doing so. I've heard so many people love this book and I'm so happy for them. I just don't think we're a match. It's really beautiful. I will give it that. It's the School of Magic where you have to compete to stay alive. Once you're inside, there are only 2 ways out. You graduate or you die. Stunning. But now for me. We have Book of the Month's December picks. So I have already read 2 of the December books because, yes, I did talk about these books in my previous video, so if you're interested to hear more about them, or you can also check Book of the Month's website to see these books, but we have Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford, The Holiday Swap, A History of Wild Places, and Olga Dies Olga Dies Dreaming. This has been in my TBR for so long. I think it's been here since 2018 or 2019. I know it's not that long ago, but it feels like it is. It's The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson, and I wanted to read this in October 2019. Never did. A young woman living in a rigid, puritanical society discovers dark powers within herself in this stunning feminist fantasy debut. I mean, it sounds wonderful, but do I really want to wait a whole year just to read this? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Year of the Witching. Also, another book that I wanted to read in October 2019 and never got around to, Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. She is also the author of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. So don't ask me why I haven't read Kingdom of the Wicked, because I honestly don't have an answer. I look at it and I feel nothing. Oh, what is this about? Two sisters, one brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. Talking about romance, we have The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. I have read one book before of Helen Huang, and that is The Bride Test, which I loved and adored. I had so much fun reading that, so I'm very excited to get to this, which is about a woman struggling with burnout. Is this about me? A woman struggling with burnout learns to embrace the unexpected and the man she enlists to help her. Aww, cute. How can I enlist a man to help me with my burnout? Please leave, like, curriculums down below. Thank you. It's kind of homophobic that I haven't read these yet, but, Volume 11 and Volume 12 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't read these yet. I feel like I hate myself a little bit. Like, why other reason would I not immediately pick these up? Because if you don't know Jujutsu Kaisen, all-time favorite. So why haven't I read these? In a world where cursed spirits feed on unsuspecting humans, fragments of the legendary and feared demon Sukuna have been lost and scattered about. Should any demon consume Sukuna's body parts, the power they gain could destroy the world as we know it. Fortunately, there exists a mysterious school of Jujutsu sorcerers who exist to protect the precarious existence of the living from the supernatural. Sexy? Yes. Also, I'm a big hand enthusiast. Yes. Okay, I have 3 middle grade books left to talk about, and they are these. We have Daughter of the Deep by Riordan. This is a retelling of 1,000 or 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Wow, I suck. This is a retelling of that, and it's a children's retelling because, of course, Uncle Rick. This is a standalone novel, which is exciting because usually Uncle Rick writes stories, especially about Greek mythology and Roman mythology, but this is more of a retelling of a classic book, so I'm very excited to dive into this one. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? I didn't even try. Wow. Then we have a collection of stories edited by Riordan, but it's authors from Disney, and it is The Cursed Carnival and Other Calamities. There's something for everyone in this treasure chest of fast-paced and funny adventure stories that show what it takes to be a hero in any time, setting, or universe. And then we have the sequel to Eva Evergreen, The Semi-Magical Witch, which is The Cursed Witch, like Eva Evergreen and The Cursed Witch. This is reminiscent of Kiki's Delivery Service. It has very Studio Ghibli vibes, like that cozy sort of, you know, snuggling up with a blanket and a hot chocolate with marshmallows on top, and now I'm hungry. But anyways, it gives me that feeling, and it also explores themes of friendship and love and what you're willing to do for the people that you love and what it means to love yourself and be true to yourself. It's a really wonderful story, and it's a very magical story, and I love it, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I should. I really should. Then we have another book that was recommended by my subscribers, and I have yet to read it because I'm disgusting. Anyways, Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This has been described as a very beautiful, very lyrical, very poetic, and sort of ethereal novel. It's about this guy who's stuck in a labyrinth. He doesn't know why, but it's just him exploring the different pathways and sort of unraveling the mystery of this labyrinth. And it's pretty short. Only about 244 pages. Why haven't I read it? Beats me. Then we have The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the third book in the From Blood and Ash series, which I devoured last year. I read the first book in a day, I read the second book in a day, and then I got the third book and I haven't read it yet. Third book in a series. I shouldn't give a synopsis because spoilers. I'm definitely not using that as an excuse. Oh my god, my legs are falling asleep. Okay, you know, life happens. My camera ran out of battery. So here I am. I still need to talk about 2 more books. So let's ignore the quality change, the voice change. We also have Lore by Alexander Bracken. Hunt or Be Hunted. That is all I need to know. And also, stunning 8K resolution. But I still haven't read it, because I also think this is inspired by Greek mythology, of course, because we have Medusa. So of course this is inspired by Greek mythology. And then finally, this is probably the most embarrassing book to have in my TBR because I was so excited to read it. Even before it came out, it was my most anticipated release. You can see my trash can. I just realized this. You know, like calls to like. This came out in 2021. I didn't get a chance to read it just because I was intimidated by the size. And this author is the type of author that you need to be in the mood for, because if you're not, you're just not going to be into the story. Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I know we all have found feelings over this author, but particularly me, personally, I enjoy her writing. I don't really feel like defending the reason that I like Cassandra Clare. I just do. And life is too hard to not read whatever you want and find happiness wherever you can. So just let me have this, okay? Let me have this. Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is the sequel to Chain of Gold, which I absolutely adored. So tell me why I still haven't read the sequel. Tell me why I'm making this out to be a bigger deal than it is. I know it's just a book, but it's just, why haven't I read this? Why? I just want to know why. You know what I mean? I have over 50 books in my physical TBR. And I mean, it is fun because I have such a good range of genres and types of books to pick from, especially because since I've accepted that I am a mood reader, it's good to have a good roster of options. But also, I'm the type of person that gets easily overwhelmed by options. Like if there's more than 3 options, I can't choose. So there we have it. Those are all of the books that I own, that I have on my physical TBR. Let me know if you see any of your favorites. Let me know which ones I should prioritize. Let me know which ones you think I would hate and should not waste my time on. And let me know what books are on your physical TBR that you think I would love, because I know I said I shouldn't add more books to my TBR, but you can't help wanting more books, and you can't help wanting to find more books to love. Thank you so much for watching this very chaotic video. I really hope you enjoyed. I love making videos for you guys, and I've missed you so much. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've had a wonderful start to your year. If you haven't, stay strong, because I haven't either. So we can just, let's keep each other company. Let's stay strong for each other. We've got each other's backs. I believe in us. So here's to a wonderful 2022 and to making more memories with each other. I love you guys so very much, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Hey Jimmy, you nice. Keep going.